In 1949, an eruption occurred near La Palma, a picturesque Spanish island, triggering a series of earthquakes and creating a fault line along the volcano's crest. The landmass shifted ominously toward the ocean, sparking fears among locals that a catastrophic disaster was inevitable. This eerie tale inspired conspiracy theorists and even made its way into a tense Black Mirror-style documentary narrated by Morgan Freeman, who delved into the possibility of a future mega tsunami born from this unstable terrain. In the present day, a group of tourists embarked on a scenic boat tour around La Palma's volcanic coastline, marveling at the breathtaking landscape that seemed plucked straight from Game of Thrones. Amid the serene surroundings, a woman dived into the ocean for a swim, but moments later, her friend grew uneasy when she failed to resurface. Bubbles formed rapidly around the boat as steam enveloped the area, resembling the apocalyptic scenes from the day after tomorrow. Suddenly, her lifeless body floated beneath the boat, and before the passengers could react, the vessel cracked open. Scalding water erupted from below, consuming everyone on board in a shocking moment of chaos. Meanwhile, a Norwegian family arrives on La Palma for their annual Christmas vacation, a tradition spanning 7 years. They are warmly greeted at their favorite hotel, where they've grown close to the staff over time. This year, however, they are surprised to be given an unexpectedly luxurious suite instead of their usual accommodations. As they marvel at the lavish room, the daughter, Sarah, stumbles upon a mysterious earring tucked under the bed. Unbeknownst to them, it belonged to one of the tourists who perished in the recent boating tragedy, a chilling connection they are yet to realize. At the La Palma Geology Institute, scientists are growing increasingly concerned about the volcanic activity on the island and its possible link to the tragic boat accident. Among them, Marie and Haukur discover that the transmitter feeding seismic data to their systems has gone offline. Determined to investigate, they drive up the mountain and proceed on foot to the transmitter site near a cave. While the exterior seems intact, their exploration inside the cave reveals startling changes, streams of running water that weren't there before. As they delve deeper, they find something even more unsettling: the lifeless bodies of dozens of bats scattered across the cave floor, hinting at an ominous escalation of events. Haukur uses a specialized gadget to measure the air in the cave and discovers alarmingly high levels of carbon dioxide and sulfuric gas. As they delve deeper, they find the other half of the transmitter completely destroyed. The culprit appears to be a massive crack in the cave roof, with fallen rock sediments crushing the equipment. Returning to the institute, Haukur and Marie report their findings to their boss, Alvaro, who reprimands them for jumping to conclusions about an impending eruption. Alvaro insists they gather more concrete evidence before alarming the public, reminding them of his previous mistake 3 years ago, when a false eruption prediction led to mass panic and unnecessary evacuations. Later, Marie reviews a simulation video illustrating the catastrophic impact of a tsunami in the region, leaving her visibly shaken. At home, her brother Eric shares details about his next diving project, mentioning an unusual phenomenon: turtles converging at La Palma in large numbers, a behavior contrary to their solitary nature. The next day, the Norwegian family enjoys lunch together at the hotel. However, their neurodivergent son, Tobias, grows upset when his meal doesn't match the picture on the menu, prompting his parents to intervene and calm the situation. Amidst these seemingly ordinary moments, the undercurrent of growing danger remains, as the island's mysteries deepen. As Sarah lounges by the pool, she exchanges flirtatious glances with Charlie, who later approaches her with an invitation to hang out. Sarah reluctantly declines, explaining she needs to look after her younger brother, Tobias. Observing the exchange, her father, Frederick, encourages Sarah to accept the invitation, volunteering to take care of Tobias himself. Grateful for the rare chance to relax, Sarah agrees and leaves to meet Charlie. However, as Frederick keeps an eye on Tobias, he becomes distracted by the sight of his wife, Jennifer, chatting with the hotel employee who upgraded their room. The conversation seems a little too friendly, sparking a twinge of jealousy in Frederick. When he turns back, Tobias has vanished. Frederick panics and runs to fetch Sarah, interrupting her just as she begins talking to Charlie. Together, they search for Tobias, eventually finding him on a hill, entranced by the sight of turtles gathering unusually close to shore. Meanwhile, Eric dives into the water to investigate the peculiar behavior of the turtles. Back at the hotel, tension brews when the employee comes to update the family about their rented car. Frederick's jealousy boils over, leading to a heated argument with Jennifer that the kids overhear from the adjoining room. Simultaneously, Alvaro meets a doctor friend at the morgue, pressing for updates on the biopsies conducted on victims of the mysterious boat incident. The pieces of a larger, more ominous puzzle begin to fall into place. The doctor shows Alvaro alarming evidence. The victims' burns were caused by extremely hot gas, and they had inhaled lethal levels of carbon dioxide and sulfur. Concerned this could signal lava activity, The doctor presses the issue, but Alvaro dismisses it, unwilling to raise panic. Meanwhile, at the institute, Marie and Haukur analyze the cave water samples. The water's mineral deficiency suggests it traveled rapidly from the surface to the underground tunnels. Marie speculates the crack may extend all the way to the mountaintop, a theory Haukur corroborates by cross-referencing topography data. Shockingly, the crack aligns perfectly with the fault line from the 1949 eruption. Determined to investigate further, they hike back to the mountain and confirm their worst fears. The crack indeed reaches the summit. Using advanced equipment, they begin measuring seismic activity. At the hotel, Frederick notices faint tremors while standing on the balcony. Simultaneously, alarms blare at the institute as the monitors detect a gas emission on a nearby hill and indicate a potential earthquake. Alvaro orders his team to notify the civil guard immediately. As tension escalates, Marie calls Alvaro to report her findings, further solidifying their growing concern that the island may be on the brink of a catastrophic eruption. Suddenly, gas bursts from the ground around them, forcing Marie and Haukur to sprint for their lives. On their way, they stumble upon a group of campers, and Marie pauses to warn them. She quickly teaches them to pour water on handkerchiefs and cover their faces as they flee. But the dense gas clouds limit visibility, and in the chaos, Marie is separated from the others. Disoriented, she trips and tumbles down the rocky terrain before losing consciousness. Moments later, she dreams of drowning in a tumultuous ocean. When she awakens, Marie finds herself in a hospital bed. Alvaro is by her side, informing her that Haukur inhaled too much gas and is now in an induced coma, while tragically, the campers didn't survive. Tensions flare as Marie and Alvaro argue about issuing a public warning. Alvaro fears another false alarm could damage their credibility permanently, but Marie recounts her harrowing experience of losing her parents in a tsunami that could have been prevented with proper warnings. Determined to take action, she calls Eric, urging him to leave the sea immediately. Meanwhile, back at the hotel, Sarah finally gets a chance to talk to Charlie. But her excitement fades when she spots Charlie chatting with another guy, mistakenly assuming he's her boyfriend, leaving Sarah deflated and confused. Frederick and Jennifer consider taking a scenic drive to the mountains, but a local warns them that the area is closed due to fatalities. The man also casually mentions Tobias's earlier incident, shocking Jennifer, who had no idea. Once back in their hotel room, the revelation triggers another heated argument, audible to their children in the next room. Frederick accuses Jennifer of being emotionally absent and reminds her that he knows Sarah better, despite her being his stepdaughter. Upset, Jennifer retreats to the bathroom to compose herself, while a tearful Sarah sneaks out of the room and into the city. Desperate, Sarah calls her uncle Jens, who works at Norway's Foreign Affairs Ministry, asking for money for a plane ticket home. When Jens advises against her decision, Sarah abruptly hangs up. Jens tries reaching Jennifer, but her phone is silent as she's meditating. Determined, Sarah manages to board a flight to Madrid, only to be surprised by a supportive text from Charlie during her layover. Meanwhile, Marie and Alvaro present their findings to the island's mayor. Although initially hesitant, fearing another false alarm, the mayor eventually agrees to secure them a meeting with the government. Later, Marie pleads with Eric to return to their home country, recounting the devastating tsunami that claimed their parents as a grim warning. Eric dismisses Marie's concerns, accusing her of wanting to get rid of him, and storms off angrily. Back at the institute, scientists observe a worrying rise in tremors across the island, which Alvaro interprets as evidence of ash emissions reaching the surface. He explains the 3 stages leading to a volcanic eruption: gas emission, ash release, and finally, lava flow. Data from the mountain reveals that the fault line is still expanding. Moments later, the data takes a sharp turn for the worse, prompting Alvaro to order immediate warnings to all airports. Suddenly, a massive ash eruption occurs, visible from the hotel, where employees try to calm tourists by downplaying it as harmless. Unfortunately, Sarah's plane receives the ash cloud warning too late. The aircraft flies directly into the eruption, causing its engines to ignite. Back at the hotel, Jennifer and Frederick receive a frantic call from Jens, revealing Sarah's plan to leave. Assuming flights have been grounded, the couple looks out just in time to witness the horrifying crash of Sarah's plane. The tragedy quickly makes headlines, and they rush to the local hospital, where survivors are being brought in by rescue teams.